YouTube world, hi YouTube subscribers. I'm here giving you a weekly update. So I turned 32 this past week. So I'm grateful to be alive and blessed to have another year. Especially working in the medical field, you see like how precious life is. Because like we often, I feel like, forget in our everyday lives, but you get reminded of that a lot in the medical field. So anyway, so this past week I threw myself a birthday party because I wanted to for my when I turned 30, but I had just gotten married and I started nursing school, so I was broke from the wedding and I had a lot going on, so I just never got around to it. So this year I wanted to throw myself a party. I love having parties in general. I love like hosting as much as they stress me out sometimes. I've always like hosted parties since I was like 6 years old, like pretty much since I could. So I'm gonna make another video for you guys, just like giving tips about hosting parties, and I'll post that soon. But you know, turning another year older kind of got me reflecting. I don't know, I always seem to reflect on my life, like when it's my birthday for some reason. But I was talking with my friends today. We went out to eat, and we were talking about like happiness and how like it's so shocking how like especially lately there's been like suicides from celebrity suicides, and it's always kind of like, wow, like you think those type of people don't have problems, and like what would they have to be sad about? Um, but then we were talking about how like it just goes to show that money and fame doesn't bring you happiness, and we were saying how like only you can bring yourself happiness. Like you can have everything perfect in the world, but if inside of you're not happy, it doesn't matter. And I was saying how in fact it can be worse sometimes when you're not happy and everything else around you seems to be like perfect, because you feel bad about it. Like there's been times in my life where everything around me seemed like perfect. Like, a lot of people will say things like, "Oh, you seem like you have the perfect life." And it almost makes you feel bad because there's this expectation that, "Oh, you know, what do you have to be sad about?" But everybody goes through those times. It doesn't matter what's going on in your life. Like, even though it may seem perfect to others, everybody has like things that bother them. And it can be almost worse when everything seems perfect, because like nobody kind of asks you, you know, how you're doing, and people just expect you to be happy. And then you kind of, I know I get down on myself if I'm not happy, like what's going on, what's wrong with me, and then it just kind of becomes like this vicious cycle, um, in a way. So I am just, so at this stage of my life, I am just happy to be content. Like I think we focus too much on being happy when I feel like that's kind of more of a fleeting emotion and something that's really hard to attain. And putting that pressure on yourself, I feel like just makes it worse. So I am happy right now to just be like, okay, like I have a job finally in nursing. It might not be the perfect job, but that's okay. And that's another thing too that I feel like I get in my own way of happiness sometimes, is I am a perfectionist, which is great for like achieving certain things, like finishing nursing school. But on the other end, when you're a perfectionist, I feel like it can be hard for you to be happy sometimes, because it's very hard to meet your own expectations. So as I'm getting older, I'm trying to kind of not do that as much, especially when I'm hosting parties, because you're never going to have a perfect party, and if you get all upset about little things that go wrong, you're not going to enjoy your party. So I'm trying to go more with the flow in general with life and take it as it is, and not everything has to be perfect, not everything has to be 100%, but for the most part, if things are going relatively well, then I'm good with that. Like I'm content with being married. Is being married always 100% perfect, like all my single friends think? No. It's hard to be married to anyone, and my husband is amazing, but it doesn't matter how amazing your partner is. There's two people in a relationship, and in any case, relationships take work. So even though he's my best friend, there's times when we struggle. There's different problems that come up around us, not even our relationship, but that can throw your relationship for a loop, like nursing school. And yeah, I'm content that I have a lot of friends. When I was younger, I didn't have as many friends as I do now, especially not as close of friends, but I might not have like a best friend, like a BFF, but I still have some pretty good friends that I know will be there for me if I really need them. And so I'm content with that. Trying not to get so hung up on, oh, why don't I have a best friend? And I haven't had a best friend in like years, but I'm trying to focus more on the positives in my life. And yeah, so that's where I'm at in life. And I guess in the past too, I've realized I have trouble trusting people because I've been through a lot of crap. If you've watched some of my other videos, you probably know some of the stories I've said. I can't tell you guys everything, but if you've watched my other videos, you know that I've had like trauma and abuse, and I've had a lot of like shitty things, like many of you guys out there I'm sure have had. And the more negative or traumatic and abusive things that happen to you, I feel like it can close you off to people because you don't want to be hurt again. So I'm working on that, and I feel like that's why I'm getting better at forming friendships, is I am trying to be more vulnerable and put myself out there, because you can't have really close relationships with people if you don't do that. And yeah, sometimes you're gonna get hurt, but you gotta do it if you want to have those like close bonds. So I'm working on that, and I'm content with where I am with that. A lot of those close friends I had came to my party. So yeah, I'm just content with life right now, and trying to be more optimistic, and just not trying to be such a perfectionist at this age. So I just wanted to give you guys an update as far as health goes and like fitness. I weighed myself, and I'm still, like last week I was 123, this week I'm 126. So my weight still keeps fluctuating, but I definitely am seeing positive results, and I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. And that's one great thing about nursing, is you don't have time to eat, so you can't, it's hard to gain weight, and you're running around all day. So that's something I love about nursing, although it's very exhausting. I like that I'm physically active, for sure, versus being chained to a desk. As far as nursing goes, this past week was a good week. I was very exhausted, though. I actually slept 20 hours the other day, which is not normal. It's not healthy, and that tells me I need to be sleeping more. But now that I'm done a lot of my training, I'll be working more like regular 40-hour weeks instead of like 50. So, yeah, what happened was I got home from the end of my 3 days in a row, and I slept for like 12 hours or 11 hours. I got up, I was starving. Me and my husband went and got fast food. I came home, I ate. I couldn't even finish. I was so tired, even though I was starving. I ate like half the food, and I fell asleep. I passed out on the couch for another like 8 hours. That's how exhausting nursing can be, especially as like a new grad, and emotionally and mentally it's just a lot. But I don't plan on continuing to do that, but that's what I needed, and I felt so much better after I slept like that. And now I'm back to being exhausted again because of the party, but it was worth it, like getting up early to clean and everything. It was a good party, so. But the problem with that was there were some glitches, but I'll talk to you guys in another video like about them with my tips. But I just wanted to give you a quick update. Hope you guys are doing well, and let me know what you think about like happiness and what I talked about. Like, have you guys ever had times where you're like depressed or you're anxious or you're just dealing with a lot mentally, even though everything else around you is like perfect seeming to other people? Or like I mean, honestly, one of the hardest times in my life was a time when I think everybody expected me to be happy, and I felt like, why I even put that pressure on myself. Like, why am I not happy right now? It was after I had just gotten engaged and was, adult and living on my own, and like, I was in the best shape of my life, and everything seemed to be perfect, I think, from the outside, but I was just going through a lot personally. It didn't have to do with other people around me. It was just like my own emotions, and yeah, that was not a fun time. Not saying though too, I haven't been depressed when I had a lot of bad things happening as well, but sometimes it's almost harder when everything seems to be perfect and you're not perfect on the inside, like, if that makes sense. Okay, so yeah, leave me your comments, questions below. Don't forget to subscribe. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. And hopefully next time I'll be filming with like my microphone stand and getting a little more professional. My husband bought me some cool new things since he knows I like to YouTube, so stay tuned for that. Okay, till next time, bye guys.